Hi guys! So I bet at this point you're thinking, just what exactly is your definition of minimalism anyway? But in my defense, this is a present. I was intending to give this away from the beginning. I just thought I would show it to you first. So I did a review of a different Leuchtturm planner in the summer, an 18-month one. This is the 2016 weekly planner, so it's a completely different setup and it's also not 18 months. So I really like the Leuchtturm brand of journals. I've used their journals more than, well, I haven't used their planners at all. I had another one, the one that I did the review of, which I gave to a friend, and she's using it now. And then this one. So I really like their notebooks, although I think that I actually like paper blanks better at this point. But yeah, their notebooks are really good quality, have really nice features like numbered pages and an index and things like that. And so you'd kind of expect that their planners would be similarly pleasing, and indeed they are. They come in a few different sizes. They come in an A4, an A5, an A6, and I think possibly an even smaller one. I always go for A5. That's like kind of my default size. So this one is A5, and it is a proper A5 size if we compare it to the usual suspects here. An A5 Malden lookalike. You can see that it's just a bit smaller, so it's the same as the paper size. And these come in a lot of different colors. So really like all the colors of the rainbow. If you go on Amazon or the Leuchtturm website, you can see them all. And in the UK, they're very easy to get. They're all pretty much all on Amazon. I know in the US, they're harder to get, but I would think if you like them and it's difficult to get them, I think that the Goulet Pen Company has them, but you could also get them from Amazon UK if it's difficult to find. That's what I would do. And they come, it depends on the design. So they've got a few different designs. They have a vertical week on 2 pages, which has got like kind of hour by hour up here and then space per notes at the bottom. Then they have this layout, which is horizontal week on 2 pages, and we'll see that in more detail in a second. And then they have the so-called verso layout, which is like a week on 1 page on the left and then notes on the right. And that one seems to be the most popular one. You can get that, I think, hardback, softback, all different colors. This one comes in different colors, but I think it's only in hardback, and I think that it's only in A5 or A6. Although I might be wrong about that. It might be available in the bigger size as well. And then the vertical hourly one with the time seems to be the most difficult to get. That's the one that, if you're curious, the 18-month planner review that I did is of that layout. So this one is blue. I think it's called cornflower blue. It's a really nice bright blue. And it's hardcover. The covers are very smooth. I'd say compared to the Moleskine hardcovers, they're smoother. Also, if you compare this to the Moleskine, it's a little bit wider in size. The Moleskine sort of A5 equivalent is not actually A5. It's a bit smaller than A5. This is like a true A5. And it just has this kind of sort of, what is this called? Like a leaflety sort of thing covering it. And then on the side, it says, you probably can't see it. It's debossed and it's very faint, but maybe you can see that. It says 2016, which is a nice feature because even though it's hard to see, if you put this on a shelf at the end of the year, you would be able to see the year if you knew that it was there. And it doesn't have any other kind of like labeling here on the front. And then when you open it, and the covers, by the way, they're hard, but they're a little bit bendy. So you see that kind of, it wobbles. It's not hard compared, like say, the paper blanks, which you might have seen in one of my previous videos, much, much harder. This feels like a hardback book, whereas this one, oh, I have a stack of planners over here that almost collapsed. It's like a leaning tower of planners. So this one is much flimsier, which is, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just, this is like, it's kind of hardback, but a very sort of light, floppy hardback, which makes it, I guess, a bit more, like a bit lighter, probably takes away from the weight, but also makes it a bit less sturdy. And then this first page here says Leuchtturm 1917. And then it has a place for a name and address. And unlike the Moleskine, it doesn't have a space for a reward. I like this better. I actually would get rid of this altogether because I think most of us don't ever write in here. But I think it was pretty inoffensive. You could put a sticker over it. And then this is like a kind of cardstock, and it's creamy. It's definitely a sort of the creamy off-white paper color. So this page is a bit thicker, and then you have this blank page here. And the whole thing is in the same kind of creamy paper. I'd say this paper, it's definitely, you can feel the difference when you compare it to Moleskine. I think the general consensus is that Leuchtturm has better quality paper. And it's fountain pen friendlier, apparently. I don't use fountain pens, but I can feel it just writing with a gel pen, like a friction pen, or other gel pens, that somehow it's smoother. So then you go instantly into a 2015 calendar, which is kind of interesting because this is a 2016 planner. So I don't know really what the purpose is of having 2015 there, but I don't mind. It's not doing any harm. It just might be a little bit redundant because I kind of feel like it's not that often, if at all, that I've ever had to go back and check the previous year. And then it has 2016, and it's a year per page. So it goes sort of horizontally 3 months per line, January, February, March, etc. And a nice feature is that it gives the week number here. So it starts with week 53 with January 1st on the Friday. And the Sundays are in a bit darker font. Let's see if you can see that. The whole thing is kind of gray, and this is, I think it's a really nice aesthetic choice here. I find this very pleasing. It's like a kind of little bit subdued, muted, very easy to read, but it's like not a sort of stark black. It's very, it's grayish. So 2016 and then 2017. Oh, and a Monday start, by the way. And then it has another feature that I really like. So this is the sort of vertical monthly calendar. And Moleskine's had these for a while. They've taken them out this year, which I think is a shame. Hobonichi has this. So 1 month per column. And again, it highlights Sundays are in bold, and then it gives you the moon phases. Or maybe just... it gives you all of the moon phases, which I personally never use, but it seems to be quite a thing in calendars. I certainly don't mind them being there. And it kind of highlights, see if you can see this a bit better. You see it puts a line between each week. So I find these to be a really useful feature just for where you could use them for tracking or all kinds of different things, like just for sort of blocking, chunks of time to particular projects, or really they have all kinds of uses. I think that they're great. And the moon phases are based on Greenwich Mean Time. So that goes until December. And then you have another really cool feature that I like about Leuchtturms. It has a list of international holidays 2016. So if you saw my Paper Blanks review, the Paper Blanks planners are so funny because they have about 10 pages of international holidays at the beginning, this giant list. And this one pretty much gives you more or less the same information on a 2-page spread. So it's got the countries here, and it has quite reasonably extensive list of countries from Albania to Vietnam. And then it's got the months of the year on each side. And then it just has numbers. So if you picked a country, let's say, okay, we've got Lithuania here. So you can go down the list and you can see, you could highlight these. This is all of Lithuania's holidays for the year. It doesn't tell you what the name of the holiday is, which I guess the Paper Blanks has in its favor, is that it gives you this very extensive list and gives you all the titles of all the holidays. But I think probably if you live in one of these countries, you will know what the holidays are. You just don't know when they are, right? So this gives you enough information. Or if you're if you're going to visit one of those countries, it's useful to know that there is a public holiday on this day. But I don't know if you really absolutely need to know. Like, if you are going there and you want to know what the holiday is, then you could look it up on the internet. So I think that this is quite effective because it just gives you all the information you need to know at a glance. And that's it. It doesn't take up much space. And then you have another really cool feature that I haven't seen in another planner. So it's got these it's a 2-page spread, and it's got 2 of the same thing. And it says project plan at the top. And then it goes from December 2015 to January 2017. So it's like a 16-month spread, I guess. And it lists the week number here. So it starts with week 49 and it goes all the way through until week 4 of 2017. And then it just got blank spaces. So this could be used for tracking. To me, that seems like the obvious use for it. So like, say if you wanted to track exercise, you obviously, you could do it here as well, but this gives you a bit more room to write. So I would sort of be more inclined to use this for planning out, like, I don't know, I'm going to be away this week, or this week I'm teaching a summer school, or that kind of thing, so that you can just see at a glance what you're doing. Whereas for me, this seems more like an obvious tracker because there's not a lot of room, but you could write in here like, I don't know, cycling, and then like tick off every day that you did it. Not every day, every week. It's per week. So it's more useful for like kind of tracking bigger things. I guess again, in the same way, you could use it for like, say, I'm going to be away this week. I'm going to be working on this for these 4 weeks, that sort of thing. Because yeah, it's not by day. If it were by day, you could use it for that sort of thing. But it's got 2 of them. So you've got actually quite a lot of different room. They're both identical. The times are the same. So this is also December 2015 to January 2017. So you've got lots of different things that you could track here. I'm trying to think if there's a way that you could do it, if you could somehow make these days. Like I think you could actually, if you wanted to, you could like say, because you probably won't have like 10,000 different things to track. If you wanted to say like water intake and exercise or something, you could like designate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and say this is the 7 days of week 1 and then mark them off. And you could have like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if you see what I mean. And you'd have, I think, space 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so it works. Does that make sense? You could say this is 1 week. This is like the days of the week. And then you sort of repeat over each week, and then you could do that for 2 different things here and then 2 different things here. So you could have like water, exercise, and then 2 other things. Or you could use it in a completely different way that I haven't thought of. But I like that. I think that's quite useful. And then it goes straight into the diary. And this is something that I really, really like compared to Moleskine. So this is one of the things that won me over compared to Moleskine's. Another one is the paper quality. But I think that I really, really like how it doesn't have a lot of extra information at the beginning. So if you've seen any of my Moleskine reviews, you know that like I don't really like the pages where they give like international conversion charts and flight times and time zones. And I know that there are people who like those. So like, please don't be upset if you do like those. I'm not like trying to bash them. It's just personally, I would rather not have them because I don't use those pages. So I like how this is just very kind of to the point. It just gives you, I feel like it's all information that's useful, and you know, like I would much rather have this than like have size conversion charts, because I think this could be used for all kinds of different things, and it doesn't take up a lot of room. And then you're just like bang, beginning of the year. So then it starts with December 2015, and it you know labels the month and the year at the top on the top left, and you'll see by the way that this lies reasonably flat, not as flat as a Hobonichi, obviously, because what does in terms of bound planners, but quite flat, and it's stitched binding. So it starts on the Monday. It's a Monday start. The one thing that it doesn't have is a sort of like month on 2 pages, which I think would be nice. I like having all different types of layouts, but well, that's what Hobonichi's for. so it does have this like kind of vertical month. It just doesn't have the boxes. And it lists here, these are like country abbreviations, which it gives you the key to at the beginning here. So not only do you have this like kind of master list of international holidays, but you also, it also gives you the countries that are having a holiday in the diary. So I think that this is really useful. Again, I keep comparing this to Moleskine just because it's the sort of the closest relative. And Moleskine has taken out all of their holidays. They don't give you any international holidays. And if you want them, you have to go to the Moleskine website where you can download them. But I just think that this is much better because, so like my friend who started using the Leuchtturm now, teaches in different countries. Like occasionally she has to go to another country in Europe, and also is like teaching online in another country. And it's really useful to know when it's a holiday. So she likes the fact that it's already written there, because just without having to do any extra work, without having to like look things up on the website and copy them in, you have it here. And it doesn't take up much space because they use these abbreviations, which you can check at the beginning. So I think that's a really nice feature. So like the 28th of December is a holiday in New Zealand and in a few different countries. So then you just have this like kind of blank space. There are no lines. On this particular sheet, on the first sheet, the lines from the project planning page kind of show through, but after that it's just like completely blank. But what they do, which is another nice feature, is they give you this sheet. This comes with it in the back, and on one side it has grid, and on the other side it has lines. The lines are quite big, but you can put them underneath, and then it gives you a line surface. I'm not sure if you can see that, but if you're writing and you put that underneath it, then you do have lines. And I think that that's sort of a nice option because they're kind of making it useful for everyone. So if you're somebody who doesn't like lines, or say you wanted to use stickers and just like put all of your information on stickers, which is what I would do if I was using this like as a home planner, then you don't need the lines, and the lines kind of get in the way. But if you want to write with lines, or if you want a grid, then you've got the option. So I think that that's a really nice touch. And you just have this like sort of big open box for every day. So you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on the left side, and then Thursday, Friday, and a shared Saturday and Sunday on the right side. And if you know me, you will know that this is one of my great sources of vexation, and really my only complaint with this planner is that they have a shared weekend. I think a shared weekend works for some people, but I feel like it doesn't work for more people, because no matter what you're doing, whether you work on the weekends or you don't work but you have a lot of other stuff going on the weekends, I just kind of feel like it would be better to have a bit less space in the week, have each weekend day have its own space, and then have a bit of extra space for notes. That's just like, I would prefer that. And they don't give that as an option. I kind of feel like it's based on this sort of old model of planning, or what I think of as like a kind of old-fashioned model, where it's like you work Monday to Friday and then you don't need to plan anything on the weekends, which I feel like is not true for a lot of people. So that's my only really kind of major issue with this, is that there's no option to have this is the only layout you get. And all of their different layouts. The vertical one also has a shared weekend. The only one that doesn't, obviously, is the Verso, where it's a week on one page. Oh, wait, no, I think even that is a shared weekend. And Moleskine is the same as well. They both go for this format. So yeah, that's something to be aware of. But if you don't mind the shared weekend, then you won't have a problem with this. And it labels the week number at the bottom. So here it says week 53 on both pages. And then it's just got, again, the month and the year at the top. And there's no dividing line between Saturday and Sunday either. So like, not only do they have the shared same amount of room, but they also like have just a shared space. There's no division. And then it goes on like that. So if you have like a kind of, a month where there's no overlap, it's just a single month, then you get the name of the month and the year at the top, which I think is nice. Again, compared to the Moleskines, they don't list the year, at least not the ones that I've seen. So I think it's quite nice, even though you're not likely to forget what year it is. I still think it's nice to you have the month and the year, and then it gives you the week at the bottom here. There's this little space at the bottom where there's a line here, like a sort of the line that divides the days from each other. You have a line at the top with a little bit of room, and then even slightly smaller at the bottom. So you could write, like you could track something very small in here, or write, you know, like one line. And it continues like that, always giving you the week number and the month. And you have a bookmark, 2 bookmarks in fact, and the bookmarks are the same color as the cover, but one of them has stripes. And I think all of the Leuchtturms do this. One of them is just like a solid color, and the other one is has gray stripes. I would actually personally like it better if they were both just solid color, because I don't really like the look of the gray stripe, but I think that this is practical because it allows you to distinguish between the two of them easily. They're also slightly different length. One of them is longer, the solid one is longer than the other, you can see. So it continues like that until January 2017, and it gives you, it's actually quite generous. It gives you the whole first week, which it didn't need to do because the 1st of January is on a Sunday, so it could have just finished here, but it carries on and gives you an extra week, which is quite nice. And then you have some blank notes pages, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, quite a few. I think like maybe 10 whole sheets, so it's like 20 pages or maybe 25 pages. It's quite nice. And then you have this like kind of cardstock page where it just gives the label again and like their details, designed in Germany, made in Taiwan, etc. And then you have the logo again here on this, that's sort of the back of this sheet. It's like the mirror image of the one in the front. And then they give you, this is like some information about Leuchtturm, the company, and all of the different layouts that they have of like planners and address books and notebooks. And then you have another feature that's really nice about the Leuchtturm brand is that they give you this archiving set of archiving stickers. So you've got like a few different ones, like kind of boxes. These are just stickers that peel off that you could put on the front and just to write like what it is. And then you've got these 3 that you could put on the spine. So if this is just a planner and you don't need to label it, then you don't really need these, but it's more, I guess it's more useful for the notebooks where you can like kind of write, you know, what the topics are. And then you can instantly see them on the shelf if you archive them. But obviously, if you're a planner addict and you have several different planners for the year, you could write on the spine which one this was. And then you have a contacts book, which like, again, I never use these. When I used to use a Moleskine, I would use these like kind of for notes, and then I eventually just threw them away, put them in recycling rather. But yeah, you've got this, and then you have a pocket, and the pocket is, like the pockets on these are pretty good. They're with like kind of a cloth. It's like a white cloth, and this is cardboard, and you know this like kind of sticks into it, and these will fit into the pocket as well. So then on the back you have the elastic, and then you've got the logo here. It's like debossed, and that's it. So yeah, I think that this is a really nice option. It's like I said, my only complaint is the shared weekend, but like very nice quality paper, sort of good aesthetic, nice layout, some really nice features that you don't see in very many or any other bound planners. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing a like kind of super comparison of a lot of different sort of like more popular or commonly found bound planners. So stay tuned for that if you're interested in bound planners. And I hope you enjoyed this. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon.